Welcome to my world.
It's preparing to live stream.
Well, we are officially live streaming now on YouTube.
Hang on. In a minute, it's loading.
Oh, it's loading. Oh, on my thing it says live. Let me
All right.
see.
Hang on, I'm just going to give feedback for a second.
Welcome to my world.
Don't pause it. Okay. So wonderful. You are now streaming live to YouTube. I'm going to make Edith the host. Have a great session. I'll see you guys later.
Cora.
Okay, so so everybody, I am going to admit everyone and disable the wait room so people just can come in. And then we'll start exactly at 6 o'clock. I don't anticipate we're gonna get a lot of people, but one of the things that I've realize is that when we record it, then we get a lot of people watching the recording and going to the website. So hopefully, and we'll send the YouTube link out to the kids in an email. All right, everybody. So we are going to get started. I'm going to admit everyone. Why is everybody in? Okay. Waiting room, one person. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm making a mistake because I just realized, how do I disable the room? Okay, view options. All right. I have a bit of an issue because I don't know. Either way, so we're going to get started.
I can admit people.
Okay, yeah, I know I can disable the room. I just am not really seeing where I can do that. Mock meeting, disable, got it. I disabled the waiting room, so everybody should be able to come in. All right, everyone, hello. Oops. Hold on for one. All right, everyone. Good evening. My name is Edith Johnson, and I am the proud principal of Wilbercross High School. I am so happy to see everyone. This is our class of 2021 information session. For our seniors, I want to first apologize because we usually do this a little bit earlier than November, but with everything that is happening, we pushed it back a little bit. So I thank you guys for attending. Please note that we are currently recording this session and it is live on our YouTube channel, and we will also put the recording on our website tomorrow and email it to all of the seniors and their families, so that way if your friends are not here or parents, they can get this, they can still see the session and get all the information. So I want to welcome everybody. Bienvenidos. Mi nombre es señora Johnson. Yo soy la directora aquí en Wilbercross High School. Esta sesión es para los seniors. And we're going to get started. So Miss Bruler, I believe you're going to begin. And if you have any questions, please save them till the end. We will open the chat and we will have a question and answer session. So that way you can ask any questions that you need to ask. Okay, Ms. Bruler, take over. Okay, I'm sorry, who's up? Oh, she's not back yet, is she? Oh,
Have to unmute.
you have to unmute, Miss.
Mueller. Está muda.
Hi, how are you? Good evening, everyone. So today, this is the list of school counselors. We are all present on this call this evening. And as you all know, we are divided at Wilbur Cross in 4 academies. BFA being Business and Fine Arts, HCS being Health and Culinary Sciences, IA, which is short for IADAS, which is the International Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences. LPS is Law and Public Service. So this slide will be available to you after this presentation as well, but these are our contact information for us, particularly during this year. Office space seems a little bit irrelevant given this current situation, but most of us have our Google Voice numbers here. So that means that we're actually getting phone calls, and certainly all of our emails work. So you are more than welcome to reach out to us. If you are not sure who your child's counselor is, your child hopefully by now knows who that is, but this kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown of where we are located, which academies anyway. Okay, so in the 4-year college application checklist, this is kind of a monster of a document. Most students will get this form at the beginning of the year when we meet with them for their senior meeting. Now, we also present a lot of this information during their junior year at their junior meeting, which most of your children have had during the spring. This year was a little bit of a strange spring, so many of us did that remotely for obvious reasons. So these are the things that your child should be doing and or have done. So you can read through the list. I will just highlight quickly, like college trips and representative visits were done virtually this year because of COVID. And those links continue to be updated through their homeroom classroom. We also have a Google Classroom for seniors where that information is presented. So if your child is still interested in visiting a school and doing it virtually, most colleges right now have that information on their main page, and they have and or embedded in their websites where you can say, I want to do a virtual open house. And we really encourage that just to get a sense for the school and whether it's the right fit. Now, we did have an SAT already, so that is a little bit irrelevant at this time, but if your child is about to take the SAT again on their own, then of course we encourage them to continue using Khan Academy, or SAT website has great, SAT test prep on their actual site where they can do practice tests. Right now, your child is likely doing their college essay. If they have not fine-tuned it yet, they are working on that within their English classes for the most part, or sharing it with the College and Career Center, with us, or other adults in their life that are good editors and can help them really get that essay where it needs to be in order to put it into their common application. As your child should also have asked 2 teachers for a letter of recommendation if they are applying to colleges. Some colleges don't necessarily request them, but most do, and will take 1 to 2. If your child is asking for a letter of recommendation from someone outside of our school, then that person would need to email us as their counselor the letter of recommendation so that we can upload it to their Naviance site, which then gets sent to the schools. Common application is where most schools accept the common application. And just to be really clear, when we talk about common application and Naviance, these are 2 websites that we use in order for applications to get submitted. So the common application has a lot of questions that your child must answer. And it is the actual application for schools. Then each of those colleges usually has additional questions on the side dashboard. We go over this with your child when they're applying to school. The Naviance portion of it is another website that is used where we upload the letters of recommendation and the transcripts throughout the year. We do an initial, a mid-year, and a final transcript is sent through that site, as well as the school report and other documents that colleges require from us as their counselor. So those two websites basically communicate with each other. And the way they do that is because we help them match their accounts. That's the next bullet. If your child has not done this already, they will be soon. And they, of course, should be in touch with us because we are the ones who help them do that. I spoke about the questions. Now the FAFSA, this is really important. The FAFSA came out on October 1st. So this really pertains to parents. Your child will need you to fill out the FAFSA if they are seeking scholarships or financial aid. Even if they are eligible for, say, New Haven Promise, they require that you fill out the FAFSA, whether you have, whether you have done your taxes yet or not. All those questions will be asked within the FAFSA, but that is how a financial aid packet is presented to your child once they are accepted. So it's a really important document that needs to happen. And unfortunately, that's not really one that we can readily do with your child because it does pertain to your finances and your individual personal financial situation. FAFSA has been opened up for all parents now as of October 1st. And the sooner you get that application done, the better for your child in terms of money, because remember, these are federal funds and applications and grants and all that. So it's kind of a first come, first completed gets more access to that funding. So it's important to do, but you'd still have time. We just want to have you put that on your radar for completing. Your school's institution, the different colleges may actually require the CSS profile, which is an additional document and financial form. Not all schools require that. So that's very specific to certain schools, as well as an institutional aid form. And that, again, would be specific to the school. Some schools are requiring the SAT scores and ACT is optional. Most schools this year went optional with SAT scores because of COVID, and it didn't seem fair to use that as criteria. However, if your child did really well on the SAT, it's always a good idea to send it even to the school that doesn't require it, because it kind of like boosts their packet, if you will, or their file. So I think going through that, we will continue to work with your child. The fee waivers, we will also help your child fill out in the actual Common App so that they qualify for a fee waiver, given that they go to Cross, which happens to be a school that qualifies students for fee waivers. Last here, the New Haven Promise application is eligible to students who are residents of New Haven and who have been in our school for 4 years. And they have to have a 3.0 average, and really good attendance is important for eligibility. So I think later in this presentation that will be presented with a little more detail. And lastly, this little bullet just says that there will be deposits and that sort of thing pertaining to your schools. But obviously you're not going to submit a deposit to a school until you know that that's the school of choice for your child, okay?
Okay. Para dar un resumen de lo que la señora Bruller estaba hablando, esta es la lista de verificación cuando el estudiante está solicitando aplicaciones para las escuelas y cuando quiere ingresar a una universidad de 4 años. Lo primero que ella dijo es que estos son cosas que ya se revisaron en las reuniones del tercer año. Y estas son cosas que ya muchas deben de estar hechas. Muchas de las universidades están dando visitas virtuales. También ellos tienen su open house, los SAT, que es la prueba de aptitud escolar. Eso ya también se hizo. Ella dijo que necesitaban los estudiantes 2 cartas de recomendación de un maestro si el estudiante decide que quiere una carta de recomendación afuera de la escuela, como una persona que no es un maestro, que es importante que le avise a su consejero, porque su consejero tiene que entrar esa información en los programas que ellos usan para mandarle la información a las escuelas. También ellos dijo anteriormente que la información que estaba anteriormente era la información de contacto para los consejeros. Ellos no están en la escuela, pero sí están disponibles a través de los teléfonos para hablar con cualquier necesidad que usted tenga. Los sitios de web que se están utilizando más para los estudiantes de cuarto año son los websites de Naviance y la aplicación común. Y esos dos sitios de web se comunican los unos con los otros. Es importante que siempre se mantenga en contacto con la consejera. Las aplicaciones de FAFSA, que es para la ayuda financiera, eso es un documento que los padres tienen que bregarlo con los hijos, y la razón por eso es que ese programa requiere mucha información financiera y personal que los consejeros no pueden ayudar a los estudiantes con esa información porque ustedes tienen los datos. Entonces es importante también porque esa aplicación, esa solicitud también la van a utilizar para New Haven Promise, que es una beca, y creo que más tarde le van a explicar más sobre esa beca, así es que yo no voy a entrar en detalles sobre eso. Lo más temprano que puedan llenar esa aplicación es mejor. Y tienen que completarla con su firma. También muchos estudiantes han tomado la prueba de aptitud escolar. Es opcional porque como tenemos el COVID, algunas escuelas no lo requieren. También hay exenciones para esos exámenes. Y la señorita pues dio más detalles sobre New Haven Promise, que eso va a ser más después. Y también hay un perfil de colegio que se llama CSS, pero eso no es para todas las escuelas, pero si su escuela lo necesita, es algo que tiene que llenar también. Creo que ya eso es todo.
Estoy muy orgullosa que me dijiste señorita, Dios mío.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mr. Flanagan, school counselor for Law and Public Service, last names M through Z. I am going to talk to you today or tonight, depending where you are. I guess since we're in the US, it's tonight, about graduation requirements. Hopefully, you all are aware of what you need to graduate. Just because you're in school for 4 years doesn't mean you graduate. There's certain requirements. You need 4 years of English, 4 credits. You need 4 credits of math, 3 credits of science, 3 history, 2 world language credits. They have to be the same language. For example, you can take Spanish 1, next year you do Spanish 2, or you do Spanish 2, Spanish 3. You also need 1 technology course. That can be anything from career, unified arts, or business. For example, if you're in business and fine arts, introduction to business can count as a tech requirement. If you're in health and culinary sciences, culinary can count as a tech requirement. You also need 1 gym credit in order to graduate, as well as 1 STEM credit, which is an additional science, technology, engineering, or math credit. So if you love science and you did your 3 years, perhaps you do another science your senior year. You also need a half a credit of health and 1 credit of humanities. Humanities could be an additional English, maybe a 3rd year of a foreign language. And I apologize, my screen won't go down all the way, so I'm going back here. You also need capstone. A capstone is basically a summarize of your whole high school career. And that's something a lot of your students and your children are working on during their senior seminar. Now, there are some students on here who may not have senior seminar, but we are working as a department in school and we'll be coming up with a plan to help you guys complete this capstone requirement. And on top of all this fun stuff, you also need three and a half additional electives, which total up to 26 credits in order to graduate. Next slide.
Gracias. Oh,
De nada.
I'm sorry. You want me to translate? Okay. Esos son los requisitos para graduarse de la escuela Wilbur Cross. Para graduarse van a necesitar 4 años de inglés, 4 años de matemáticas, 3 años de ciencia, 3 créditos de estudios sociales, ahora en clases de historia afroamericana y latinoamericana, que son algunos de los que los estudiantes pueden coger. Los lenguajes, por ejemplo, si coges español, pues tendrías que coger 2 años de eso o 2 años de francés, pero tienen que ser 2 años consecutivos. 2 años de las artes, por ejemplo, tenemos teatro, tenemos coro, y 2 años de tecnologías. El señor estaba diciendo que si usted coge clases culinarias, pues eso puede completar ese requisito, o en introducción a empresas también puede cumplir con ese requisito. Educación física, ahí vienen otros créditos que se necesitan, por ejemplo, en el STEM. No, perdón, el STEM era aquí explica que más ciencia, tecnología o matemáticas para los estudiantes que quieren coger más matemáticas, y las humanidades, ahí es donde él dijo que puede coger más clases de inglés o otro año de algún lenguaje. Y también está uno de los requisitos para graduarse es un programa que se llama Capstone. Capstone es una presentación que el estudiante hace ante de un maestro o unos profesores. Ellos se preparan a través de una clase que se llama Senior Seminar. Y en eso está la escuela trabajando con los estudiantes para ayudar a los estudiantes a completar lo que necesitan para cumplir con ese requisito. Y después viene 3.5 créditos de electivos. Y no sé si dije salud también es importante. Así es que al final tienen que tener 26 créditos para graduarse.
All right, next I'm briefly going to talk to you about how class rank is determined. Class rank is determined because you must attend New Haven Public Schools for at least 3 years in order to be ranked. Hence, you have to be here 9th, 10th, or 11th grade. Now, if your child came here in 10th grade, their senior year counts as their 3rd year, so they will be ranked. For your children who might have come halfway through the 10th grade, they will not be ranked because they'll only be in Wilbur Cross for 2.5 years. For those students, they work with their counselors and we give them a percentile so they can use that on their common application. And all rank was set and released as of November 1st of this year.
Ok, muchas gracias.
De nada, again.
Para que un estudiante tenga un rango escolar, tiene que estar en la escuela 3 años, por ejemplo, 9, 10 y 11. Un estudiante que llega a la escuela en el 10º grado también puede tener un rango escolar, porque el 10º año, el 11 y el 12, pues eso completan los 3 años que necesita para poder tener un rango escolar. Si un estudiante llega como a medio año del grado 10, pues no va a poder, porque ya solamente va a tener 2 años y medio y no va a tener los 3 años completos. Pero lo que pueden hacer para que el estudiante pueda tener algo en la aplicación común, en Common App, se le da un porcentaje. Entonces, ese porcentaje sí es algo que lo pueden usar en la aplicación. Los rangos los han publicado desde ayer. Eso es.
Good evening, everybody. This is Mrs. Otero, and I work with seniors in the BFA Academy. So like Mrs. Johnson mentioned earlier, typically we present to you guys, way earlier in the year. So bear with us. What can you do now? So if you haven't had a senior meeting, which we know a lot of you guys have, but if you haven't, please make sure to reach out to your counselor. Many of us have either emailed you guys, tried calling home. And if you guys have not had a senior meeting, just, emails. In this PowerPoint in the beginning, you guys had, our numbers listed and our emails. So make sure that you guys get that done sooner rather than later. Other things that you guys can do is, continue to build your resume. Also continue to do very well in school. We understand the struggle. We understand the challenges. So communication is key. Definitely communicate with us, communicate with administrators, but most importantly, communicate with your teachers, especially during Wellness Wednesdays. Also, you can visit colleges and trade schools. And like Ms. Bruler mentioned earlier, a lot of these visits are being held virtually. So, in one of the next slides, I'm going to show you guys just a list that Mrs. Bruler has compiled for you guys. But you can also take it upon yourself to visit these schools online. Somebody needs to mute themselves.
Angelina, we're keeping it on lunch now.
We had a whole carpet. It's all gone. I don't know where the heck it went. I gotta order something.
All right, I just muted somebody. All right, so next is Naviance. So you guys can use the Naviance or the College Board tool to like look for schools, match yourselves accordingly to, schools of your choice. These tools will help you guys plug in whether it's your GPA, SAT scores, not so much, being that so many schools are test optional, but maybe like majors, locations, to sort of match you guys with schools that you guys may be interested in. Like Ms. Bruler mentioned earlier, that was on that, very long for your checklist, is to make sure that you guys ask your teachers for letters of recommendation. We also provide letters of recommendation, but it's always good to have at least 2 teachers that can, recommend you guys on an academic basis. And what else do we have here? Okay, so later on in this presentation, we are going to be talking about our College and Career Center. So please make sure that you guys utilize that, as that's going to be very useful, very helpful, for you guys to, register for the SAT, fill out your FAFSA, possibly, get some help with your college essay. And then, the last thing that we have plugged into the slide is that checklist that Ms. Bruler went over earlier.
Muchas gracias. Aquí estamos hablando de varias cosas que ustedes pueden empezar. La señora Otero es de la Academia de Negocios y de las Bellas Artes. Ustedes deben de estar seguros que han tenido su reunión con su consejero de cuarto año. Si no han tenido esa reunión, es muy importante que se comuniquen con su consejero y consejera. Adelante en esta presentación están los teléfonos, están los correos electrónicos y ellos siempre están disponibles para hablarles. Así es que por favor acérquense y hablen con ellos para estar seguros de que todo está en lugar para que todo marche bien. Sabemos que con el sistema estando las clases virtuales y eso, pues es un poco difícil y entendemos los retos que ustedes tienen, pero es importante que sigamos comunicándonos y sigan trabajando con su currículum, y también el centro de carreras le puede ayudar a usted con ese documento particular. Busquen situaciones donde ustedes puedan tener papeles de liderazgo. Entonces, lo que deben de estar haciendo ahora es visitando las escuelas de oficio, las universidades, buscando en línea a ver si ellos tienen cosas virtuales, manera de ustedes poder visitar. Y creo que la señora Bruler también está haciendo muchas en la escuela, que ella lo pone en Google Classroom, y ahí los estudiantes pueden ir virtualmente a hablar con las escuelas y los representantes. Hay un programa que se llama Naviance y College Board. Y esos programas son programas que los estudiantes pueden utilizar para coincidir con cosas que les interesen. Cosas como qué es lo que tú quieres hacer en el colegio, localidades, el promedio tuyo, cosas que pueden coincidir con los intereses tuyos y las cosas que tú quieres hacer. Como habíamos dicho anteriormente, por favor pidan dos cartas de recomendaciones a sus maestros y denle como un poquito de tiempo de aviso para que ellos puedan hacer esto. Luego se va a hablar sobre el Centro de Universidades y Carreras y también esté seguro de que estamos mirando esta lista para mantener todo al día y sepamos exactamente qué es lo que tenemos que hacer para graduarnos.
All right, guys. So other things that you can do is maintain organized, keep organized. So, you know, create a folder, whether you do it electronically, whether you keep notes on your phone, whether it's an actual folder. You know, make sure that you have all your username and passwords handy. It's important. You guys are using a lot of accounts, especially now during, you know, going remote and doing everything virtually. You know, your Common App, College Board, Naviance, these are all, you know, online portals that require passwords and usernames. So just please make sure that you keep those handy. Also, please keep a running tab, a running list of schools and where you're applying to and their deadlines. It's important that, you know, you guys don't miss that. We understand that, you know, during this time, a lot of schools, and even before, a lot of schools are rolling admissions, meaning that there's really technically no deadline. But having said that, we encourage you guys to apply early, apply on time, apply, you know, if it's always good to apply, I think, you know, before the winter break in December, just to sort of get that piece out of the way. And then, you know, check your email. Very, very important. That's kind of like one of the main ways of communication between, you know, counselors, teachers, and, you know, us and you guys. So please keep, you know, on the lookout for those emails. We understand you guys are getting a lot of emails to your NHPS, but, you know, try to clean those folders and those emails out every so often. And if you see, you know, an email from us and you can't get to it right away, you know, make sure you flag it.
Ok, muchas gracias. Una de las cosas que es importante, estaba diciendo la señora Otero, es organizarse. Organizarse teniendo una carpeta para tener todos esos usuarios y para tener todas esas contraseñas disponibles, porque hay muchas diferentes cosas que ustedes están usando para aplicar a estas escuelas y diferentes programas. Entonces, por eso es importante tener toda esa información disponible en un lugar donde esté claro y se pueda encontrar fácilmente. También ella dijo que muchas de las escuelas a veces, como estamos en este sistema virtual, estén seguros de que apliquen temprano. Sería bueno que lo hagan antes de que empiece el invierno, porque así pueden entregar sus aplicaciones y saber si han sido aceptados. Y también es muy importante la comunicación. Y yo sé que reciben muchos correos electrónicos, mucha información, a veces se sienten un poco como que es demasiado, pero es importante que mantengan un sistema de botar las cosas que no necesitan y guardar las cosas importantes y, por ejemplo, estar al tanto de la comunicación, especialmente de sus consejeros. Y si hay alguna cosa importante, pues pónganle una estrella o usen la bandera para marcar los mensajes que son importantes.
Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the visits that are happening are virtual. Right here, we have put in a link to just a lot of virtual tours. Ms. Bruler has done this, so we have plugged this into this PowerPoint as well to make it handy for you guys. Also, like I mentioned earlier, you guys can take it upon yourselves to contact the schools. I know, you know, I know Southern is doing virtual visits, but I know at one point they were doing, you know, if you contact them directly, they, you know, they could schedule you a one-on-one. So if that's something that you guys are interested, make sure you do that. And there's just a couple samples that we did here for you guys that you guys can click on. Like we did a college, which is Southern, and then we did a trade school, Porter and Chester, in case you guys are interested in any of those.
Muchas gracias. La señora Bruller ha puesto una lista de todas las personas que podemos visitar virtualmente, y si miran el primer enlace que está ahí, eso lo hizo ella. Y también aquí tenemos dos ejemplos. Por ejemplo, uno de una universidad, de cómo usted puede ir directamente al sitio de web de esa escuela y visitarlos a ellos virtualmente. También sabemos que, o pensamos que Southern está aceptando citas para que usted pueda ir en persona y ver la escuela, pero tienen que llamarlos primero y citarse. También tenemos otro ejemplo de una escuela de oficio para que usted vea las diferencias y las diferentes cosas que ustedes pueden usar para determinar cuál es el camino que quieren coger.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kathy Monahan. I'm a counselor in the Health and Coronary Sciences. And like Ms. Otero said, usually we meet with everybody in the beginning of the year, so please excuse something that may have passed. Understanding your SAT scores. Although it was very limited this year for our students to take SATs, they kept being canceled and change dates and sites shut down. We were able to give the test at Wilbur Cross High School. A lot of our students attended there. So everybody should have a College Board account. You can visit College Board to set or reset your account. Like Ms. Otero said, make sure that you write your usernames and passwords, keep them in your phone, keep them in a folder, just make sure you have them available. There is a video tutorial on here, how to create an account if you don't already have one. And what do my scores mean? That will break it down for you so you can look at how your scores are added up and super scored.
Muchas gracias. La señora Monahan, ella está en la Escuela de Salud y Artes Culinarias, y también se disculpó porque esto lo hemos hecho un poquito más atrasado de lo que nosotros queremos, pero queremos disculparnos nuevamente porque muchas de las pruebas de la aptitud escolar, que se llama el SAT, muchas de esas pruebas fueron canceladas, pero sí tuvimos una. Ustedes deben de registrarse con su cuenta de College Board. Hay información de cómo usted puede entrar a eso. Hay cosas para enseñarle cómo hacerlo paso por paso. Y también aquí tenemos una explicación que si usted hace clic en qué significa mi puntaje, ahí le explican bien qué quieren decir esos números.
This here is an idea of some schools, just a sample of schools, what the average reading score is, what the average math score is, and the average GPA. Like a couple of us have stated earlier, many schools have gone test optional, and all of the state schools, including University of Connecticut, have gone test optional. So if your child has not scored highly, according to these numbers here, then I would suggest that they do not submit their scores. The score ranges from 200 to 800 per test. So if you take the reading portion and the math, it would be 1,600 would be the highest that you can get.
Muchas gracias. Estos son los perfiles universitarios y lo que le están mostrando es qué clase de puntuación tú debes de tener si quieres ir a esas escuelas. Muchas de las escuelas este año, como tenemos el problema con el COVID, están haciendo estas pruebas de aptitud escolar algo opcional. Pero aquí les da una idea más o menos de qué es lo que ellos están buscando, cuál debe ser el promedio escolar del estudiante más la puntuación. Si el estudiante tiene una puntuación muy baja, en verdad no debe de tomar el tiempo para aplicar para esa escuela. La puntuación es de 200 a 800 por sección y lo más alto que se puede sacar es 1,600.
Hello, everybody. My name is Janet Olson. I'm the school counselor for BFA Academy, A through J, and there are different types of applications. And one of those applications is called an early decision application. This is when a student truly knows that this is the school for them and they want to go to that school. And if they get in, they will go to that and it's binding. So they have to sign off that they will attend that school if they get in. This is one of those programs where you also have to do the CSS profile as well as the FAFSA. The early decision applications are generally due early. A lot of the due dates for early decision have passed. Generally, they are November 1st and sometime in November. Early action, some schools have early action where it's not binding, and you apply early and then you find out early. Generally, you find out in December. There's regular decision. They will let you know if you got in around a specific, around a specific future date. Rolling admissions, with most colleges are, after you get all the required documents, they will give you a decision in about 3 weeks. What's very important to know is there's a priority application for UConn, which is December 1st. And that deadline is for merit and honors consideration. And this includes the New Haven Promise.
Hay varios tipos de solicitudes. La primera que estamos viendo es la que es una decisión temprana. En estos casos lo que sucede es que esto es cuando un estudiante definitivamente quiere ir a esa escuela y el estudiante tiene que cumplir, está obligado a aceptar. Esas escuelas usan los perfiles de CSS y también tienen que tener el FAFSA. Y esas aplicaciones, decisiones tempranas, por ejemplo, ya habrán pasado porque esas normalmente tú tienes que entregar la aplicación como para el 1 de noviembre. Acción temprana es cuando te dejan saber temprano si es aceptado o aceptada, pero no es obligatorio que tú vayas ahí. Decisión regular es cuando te dicen que es en un día futuro, te van a dar una fecha, por ejemplo, si escogen marzo o ya tú sabes cuándo tú debes de saber si te aceptaron o no. Y la admisión rodante es a la que usan casi todas las escuelas, que ellos te dicen qué es lo que tú tienes que entregar y si tú entregas eso, pues ellos te dejan saber dentro de unas semanas. Para el UConn, para los estudiantes que están interesados en ir a UConn, tienen que entregar su aplicación antes de diciembre 1.
So there's counselor responsibilities and student responsibilities. I'll just go through them real quick because most of this has been said already. But counselor responsibilities are the school report, the initial transcript for students, the Common App report, submitting letters of recommendation, mid-year grades, mid-year Common App report, and the final transcript. Student responsibilities are the completion and submission of the Common App, FAFSA, institutional aid, or the CSS form. SAT scores through College Board. They request the waivers such as the SAT, the application waivers. They do that through Naviance and Common App. And the SAT waivers, they need to ask their counselor for. They need to request that from the counselor, and requesting teacher recommendations on Naviance and notifying teachers in a timely fashion, a minimum of 3 weeks to get those recommendations in.
Muchas gracias. En esta parte vamos a ver las responsabilidades que tiene cada partido, o sea, cuáles son las responsabilidades del consejero y cuáles son las responsabilidades del estudiante. El consejero tiene la responsabilidad, como está detallado en este documento, de hacer reportajes, de darle un expediente inicial al estudiante, de hacer el reportaje de la aplicación común, de someter las cartas de recomendación. O sea que el estudiante tiene que buscar las cartas, pedir las cartas, pero el consejero es el que la tiene que someter. Las calificaciones de cómo está yendo, porque las escuelas van a querer saber cuál es el promedio y eso es algo que lo tienen que someter los consejeros. También el expediente final, que cuando el estudiante ya está aceptado y se gradúe, tiene que volver a someter otro expediente y eso lo va a hacer la consejera. Los estudiantes son responsables por el FAFSA, la solicitud común, el Common App, tienen que someter su puntuación de la prueba de aptitud escolar a través de College Board. Por eso es importante que tengan esos usuarios y también esas contraseñas, porque cuando vayan a hacer estas cosas van a necesitar esa información. Tiene que pedir la exención para las pruebas y las solicitudes, y tiene que también hablar con los maestros con adelante para que le den las cartas de recomendación que los consejeros tienen que someter. Y deben de darle como 3 semanas a esos maestros para que le den esas cartas de recomendación. Gracias.
Hi, my name's Liz Dembski, and I am a school counselor in the International Academy. So, you know, this is a lot of information that we're throwing at you and your students to get done. So we are here as counselors to help your student through it. And we also have this additional amazing resource of the College and Career Center that's staffed by 2 wonderful women, Miss Bowman and Miss Straub. Miss Bowman is also bilingual and speaks Spanish. So that is an added bonus. So they have virtual hours. So they have office hours through Google Meets. So students do not have to make an appointment to enter those office hours. They can just access through this link here during that time that's listed. And if they want to make separate appointment, they can just email or call one of them to make an appointment that works best for them. And you can also, there's so much information on the College and Career Center website that's definitely worth taking a look. And it is embedded in this slide.
Excuse me, everyone. Hi, just really quickly, Ms. Straub, one of the College and Career coordinators, she's here on this call. If you could find her in our little Brady Bunch square and wave, Ms. Straub, so that way they can actually see what you look like. So they're a great resource. You can go there, get help with your college essays, resumes, and all that. So we really want families, they can help you. So I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to interrupt, but I just thought that was
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to be quiet
Ms.
now.
Straub, we're so happy to have you in our College and Career Center.
La señora Dembski es de la Academia Internacional. Ella sabe que nosotros le hemos dado mucha información. Nosotros tenemos el Centro de Universidades y Carrera que se llama College and Career Center. Está cerca de la oficina central y también cerca de la oficina de consejería. Ellos tienen oficinas virtuales y usted puede hacer clic en el sitio de web de ellos y entrar fácilmente. También si quiere una cita, que le puede mandar un texto, puede hacer una llamada o puede hacerlo por correo electrónico. La señora Bowman es bilingüe y es un placer tener una persona bilingüe porque así podemos ayudar mejor a los estudiantes y contestar sus preguntas. La señora Straub, que también está con nosotros hoy, también ella va a trabajar en esa oficina. Ahí, como puede ver, están las horas de las oficinas y hay un montón de información en ese sitio de web y por favor usen esta presentación para entrar a esos sitios de web.
Okay, so the College and Career Center, like Ms. Johnson said, these 2 women can help you with so many parts of the post-secondary planning process. So if it's applying to college, or if they're getting ready to look for a job or go to trade school, helping search for those things, completion of the Common App, in addition, writing your essay, completing your resume, helping with different financial aid forms, including the FAFSA institutional aid form for undocumented students, also registering for the SAT and ACT, and helping sending those scores to relevant schools.
Ok. El Centro de Universidades y Carrera Ellos te pueden ayudar a ti a hacer muchas cosas, por ejemplo, el currículo, te pueden ayudar con eso, te pueden ayudar con ensayos, a buscar universidades que coinciden más contigo, quieren finalizar las solicitudes escolares para las cosas donde tú has aplicado, búsqueda financiera y becas, cómo registrarse para la prueba de aptitud escolar, SAT, y la de ACT, que es de los exámenes de las escuelas americanas, cómo completar, llenar esos papeles de FAFSA, también cómo entender esos paquetes financieros que los estudiantes tienen y de escuelas de oficios y escuelas vocacionales, con todo eso le pueden ayudar a usted.
Also, in addition to financial aid forms, your child should be researching and applying for scholarships. So in this slide, there are a ton of useful links. So the first one is our database that we have on the College and Career website. It's always being updated with different scholarships that are coming through our office. Sometimes students can be nominated for a scholarship. So that's why it's super important for your child to be checking their email, because they might be getting nominated for a scholarship from us or from outside, from a college. Undocumented students, we have a specific list on our website. So those are open to everyone, no matter your citizenship status. And New Haven Scholarship Fund. This is different than the New Haven Promise. This is an application that will be available around February, March. If you're a New Haven, if your child is a New Haven student, which they are, and they have a financial need, it is a pretty simple application. They fill it out and write an essay about their goals and what's influenced them to want those goals. And we have a lot of students that apply, and they get anywhere from $500 to $2,000 to help with their, their college education.
Una de las cosas que los estudiantes deben de estar haciendo es investigando becas, buscando becas. Nosotros tenemos una base de datos, como ve, aquí hay una línea donde usted puede hacer un clic y puede entrar y familiarizarse con todas esas becas que nosotros hacemos disponibles. Y tome el tiempo de verla frecuentemente, porque a veces usted viene y no ve algo, pero otro día va y encuentra más cosas, porque siempre estamos actualizando esa base. Y también hay otro enlace para New Haven Promise que le da más información, y creo que más tarde vamos a hablar más sobre eso. Hay para los estudiantes indocumentados también hay becas que son para ellos, para ayudarle, y no importa el estado del estudiante. Hay otras becas adicionales que tenemos bastantes enlaces aquí para que usted pueda aplicar. La beca New Haven Scholarship Fund es una beca que es como en marzo o abril vamos a tener esas solicitudes. Es una solicitud sencilla. Y nosotros le pedimos a los estudiantes que apliquen, y también es importante que siempre esté mirando los correos electrónicos que le mandamos a ustedes, porque usted puede ser nominado para una beca, pero si no está leyendo su correo electrónico, quizás no lo va a saber. Así es que siempre esté buscando a ver cuáles son las becas que usted puede ser elegible, y buscando su email para ver qué es lo que los consejeros le están mandando a usted para que pueda pagar por su universidad.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Arboleda. I am the senior counselor for the HCS Academy. Last name's M through Z. So by now, you guys should all know about New Haven Promise. We've been talking to you about New Haven Promise since you've entered Wilbur Cross, your 9th grade year. You've probably heard about it your 8th grade year, so this should be nothing new. In order to be eligible for New Haven Promise, you need to be a student in New Haven since 9th grade and attend New Haven schools, obviously. have a GPA of 3.0, and have at least 90% or better attendance. So that equals out to like 72, no more than 72 days absent in all 4 years of high school. So attendance is really important for this scholarship. Students must complete 40 hours of community service. Again, we've been speaking to our students about completing community service since their freshman year. It should be no surprise now before, the deadline, usually like May, students need to have this community service completed. Once you guys receive this PowerPoint, you'll be able to click where it says Servo City. Students will be able to input their hours there and counselors will accept them. We are accepting hours that are New Haven Promise approved. So we approve them and the New Haven Promise approves them. So we're just like a gateway to those hours. Please make sure students, families, that applications are completed. The deadline is December 23rd. Once your student sends that application in, parents, you will receive an email. Once you receive that email, you must sign for the application to be complete. If you do not sign, it's going to be incomplete. So just to reiterate what we've all been saying, please check your emails.
Muchas gracias. La señorita Arboleda, ella es de la Academia de Salud y de Artes Culinarias, las letras M a las letras Z. Para los estudiantes ser elegibles para la beca de New Haven Promise, tienen que ser residentes de New Haven desde el grado 9, tienen que asistir a las escuelas públicas de New Haven desde el grado 9, tienen que tener un académico escolar de 3.0. La asistencia a la escuela es muy, muy importante. Tienen que tener no más de 72 ausencias en todos los 4 años que han ido a la escuela. Y también a veces usan un porcentaje de 90% o mejor. Las horas de servicio comunitario tienen que ser completadas antes de mayo. Y ahí hay un enlace para Servo City. Ahora, para Servo City lo que sucede es que los estudiantes tienen que ir e ingresar la información de los lugares donde ellos han estado haciendo el trabajo comunitario. Y después que ellos entran esa información, la consejera tiene que aprobar esas horas. Y le tienen que dejar saber a ella, por favor, a ellos que le aprueben esas horas. Esa solicitud se tiene que llenar antes de diciembre 23. Así que fíjense en su calendario para que llenen todas las cosas a tiempo. Hay una parte que es importante para los padres que tienen que saber que es importante que ellos van a recibir un correo electrónico de New Haven Promise. Ese correo lo tienen que abrir, tienen que firmar un documento. Si lo leen y no lo firman, pues no va a estar completado. Para que el documento quede completado, tienen que poner esa firma y enviar ese documento. Es una parte muy importante del proceso.
So here we have put in the links. Here we have put in the links for New Haven Promise. The first link will take you straight to the application, to the website, I'm sorry. The second link will take you to the application. The third link is the service requirements of New Haven Promise approved locations. I know that it's a really difficult time right now for students to be doing their community service hours if you have a few left, but these are New Haven Promise approved locations that are always looking for help. So please make sure that you are just searching and contacting them. And then lastly is a link direct to Servo City. And again, please just make sure that you guys are putting in your hours so we counselors can approve them.
Muchas gracias. So, aquí tenemos los enlaces que son muy importantes para las becas de New Haven Promise. El primer enlace pues le da la información en general. La segunda es cómo solicitar, llenar esa solicitud. La tienen que llenar los niños y también los padres. Ahí tenemos los requisitos para el servicio comunitario, las agencias que son aprobadas para este programa. Es importante que los estudiantes sigan esas reglas sobre el servicio comunitario, porque si un estudiante está gastando mucho tiempo haciendo en un servicio comunitario que después no va a ser aprobado, pues entonces no creo que va a ser una buena experiencia. Así es que tienen que mirar esa lista para ver cuáles agencias están aprobadas y dirigirse a esas agencias para que puedan recibir el crédito que ustedes necesitan para recibir esa beca, y esa información pues la tiene que aprobar la consejera. Y también es importante que además de hacer esos trabajos, tienen que ingresar esa información, y es algo que tienen que cumplir para que le puedan dar esa beca y para que la consejera pueda hacer la parte de ella, que es aprobar esas horas que ustedes han completado.
Okay, thank you, counselors. Thank you, parents, for being patient. So, I apologize. We're trying to give you guys permission to complete the form. We just want to make sure we know who attended, so we know who received the information. We're going to open it up. So please give us a minute, because the person who created, we're trying to give you guys permission. We thought the permission was off, but we're trying to figure that out. So we wanted to take the time now. If there were any questions that you may have that were not answered in the presentation, we have about 10-15 minutes that we can answer any questions for you. If you have very specific questions directly about your child, you can call me tomorrow, or your counselors, or your child's assistant principal. I'm in the building every day. I will post this, the PowerPoint, on the website tomorrow, as well as, so we'll do two things. We'll post it on the website. The live YouTube, we recorded this, so this will also be on the website as well. And then what I will do is I will also email the PowerPoint and the YouTube link to your child, to all of the seniors, their email. If you want the PowerPoint tonight, you can just email me and I will send it to you tonight. Okay, and I will also make sure there's going to be a parent link that goes out on Sunday with my email, and I'll make sure I include it in that parent link email, and just remind everybody to go on the website as well. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can raise, I think you can raise your hand. I think there's a little Claudette kid, she raised her hand, and I will unmute you so you can ask your question. Okay.
Okay.
So Claudette Kidd, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
How you doing? I'm so happy to see faces I know. I'm so excited to see you guys. I'm excited. My kids left me alone. Hi, I'm so, and look at all my, I'm just excited to see you guys. Okay.
I'm happy to see you too.
Okay. What's your question? And one of the counselors will answer it. If I can't, well, I'll leave it to the counselors.
Okay. Through remote learning, there's been a problem with when my daughter logs in the mornings, because I'm getting phone calls saying that she's absent when I see her on the computer doing her work, the teacher's there and everything. And I keep getting these recorded messages saying that she was absent from school.
Is she attending homeroom? Because the homeroom attendance is the attendance for the day. So if she's not attending homeroom and making sure that her homeroom teacher is marking her present, that's why you're getting that call. So
she said she spoke to the homeroom teacher and it will be corrected, but I still keep getting these calls.
So reach out to me tomorrow. I'm gonna make a little note and I'll look through, I'll give you a call. Let's touch base tomorrow and we can figure out what's going on. All right.
Okay.
Just, and Miss Kidd, I know your face. And I'm looking at your daughter's face, but I cannot remember her name. Because just
Yelita.
Okay, in the chat, just direct it to me and give me your daughter's name, so that way I know who to look for tomorrow.
Okay, I will do.
All right. Someone else wants to raise their hand?
Thank you.
You're welcome. No other questions?
I think I saw something.
Questions?
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
I think I saw a parent put a question in Spanish about she didn't get an application. I wasn't sure what kind of application. Una persona dijo que no recibió una aplicación. ¿De qué era la aplicación de New Haven Promise? ¿Nos puede dar más detalles, por favor?
Okay. I don't know if maybe they thought.
It says Rosalba Guerrero. I haven't received no application. No sé qué quiere decir. ¿Cuál de ellas estás pidiendo? Rosalba, ¿tú puedes quitarte o poner el micrófono? O poner tu pregunta en el chat, por favor, como hiciste tu pregunta.
Dice la de Google, pero ya le recibí. Oh, so now the Google form is in the chat and I think you're able, I just had to make another copy. I apologize about that. So you should be able to fill in the form. Gracias. Puede llenar el formulario de quién estaba aquí hoy. Ok, de nada, Rosalba.
Okay, we had a good question, a really good question about senior pictures. So because of COVID, we are not, hold on, let me just, so yes, we're still gonna have a yearbook. We're still gonna have senior portraits. However, we are not doing the actual senior portraits at Cross. If all the seniors, there should be a announcement in your senior homeroom Google Classroom about senior pictures. You're going to, we gave, if you call, and Ms. Vayuso is the point person for that. So you will have to go to a photographer and she has a list for your senior portraits. And then you upload them into the yearbook link. And then that's how they'll be in there. So yes, we'll have senior pictures, but Ms. Vayuso, there's a process for that. So that should be in your Google Classroom, your homeroom Google Classroom. And you can also email me for it. I think we posted it also on our Facebook page, but I was trying to get in our Facebook page and it wasn't letting me. I don't know if we got hacked, so I couldn't put anything on there in the last 2 days. So I'm waiting for IT to figure that out. So I don't know if other people can see the Cross Facebook page. Okay.
I think there was a student who wrote a question about who can they talk to about their attendance for the last 4 years. Her or yeah.
Or your counselor.
Or your counselor.
Really important because, and I wish there were more seniors on this call, but attendance does count. New Haven Promise, they are no joke about the attendance. Every summer, I get at least 5 to 10 calls from families that they don't qualify for New Haven Promise simply because of their attendance. I cannot go back and change attendance as it's a legal document. So when parents come to me and says, oh, well, you know, in 9th grade, it said he had all these absences and he really didn't. I can't go back 3 years ago and change attendance from 3 years ago. So it's really critically important. Parents, if you see like Ms. Kidd, there's an issue with attendance and it's not being corrected or whatever, please reach out to me or your child's teacher or whoever to make sure that that attendance is important because especially with New Haven Promise. And also, even though the state is being very flexible, and I think many people are being very flexible in light of COVID and everybody's home situations, you know, kids are expected to still show up to online school. I don't know if it's anyone on this call, but we have had several seniors who are picking up extra shifts at, you know, their jobs, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and not showing up to class, or they're like, in the drive-through trying to do class and work. So, they're not supposed to do that, but we've been working with students. So we understand there are some really financial challenges for some of our families. But, that's also been a challenge for some of our seniors. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions? I don't see Kimmy. Hey, Miss Jackson. How you doing? Good to see you. Are you unmuted?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, student.
I think I'm unmuted. Whoever, you can let the student go first. I'll wait. I'm not
and
sure.
then Miss Jackson can go.
Do you still know if you guys did the regular graduation or just like last year?
So I feel terrible because at this point, I have no idea what is going to happen in terms of senior activities. Because school is closed, we are not having coronation. We are still planning to try to have a prom and some activities in the spring, but it really all depends on what happens, what the State Department and the Health Department tell us. So that, the prom venue, I forget where it's in Branford. I forget the name of it. They have our money, they have our deposit, they have several $1,000s of the deposit for prom that didn't happen last year. So we have our venue. I want to have it, but it really all depends on, COVID. So worst case scenario, if we end up like last year, we will do a drive-through graduation at Lighthouse. So at least you have that, I don't, and that's the best I can tell. If it was up to me, I want to celebrate you guys and do all your senior activities the way that we've been doing it. But unfortunately, it's a little bit beyond our control. But hopefully, my prayer is, we can still do some things in the spring for you guys. Okay, Miss Jackson, can you unmute? Dior's mom, you're muted. I can't hear you.
I got you. I had to get back to you. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to
I was
see
talking
you
about
too.
this the other day.
Good to see you
was.
too.
I'm happy to see all of you guys. I really am.
Couple of things. The first is the email that we got today in regards to changing Google password. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, we got that email yesterday or the day before. Okay.
And then something said that they needed to make sure if they have had this password that it needs to be changed before tomorrow because it'll automatically update. I want to make sure that I understand that to be that Dior needs to change his password so that he'll be able to log in like he normally does.
So if you change your password today for your Google, your Google password, you just go in and you change your password, then you'll be fine for tomorrow.
Okay.
If you don't change it before tomorrow, when you try to log in, it's going to tell you can't log in, and then you have to go through another process.
Okay.
Exactly what that process is, I have to go back and read the details in the email because I have a MacBook. Yeah. So I literally had to call one of the young teachers to tell me how to do it, which I was just like, I'm not that old. I'm mad I got to call one of the 20-something-year-old teachers.
So we'll try to get that done this evening. And in lieu of everything that you have going on, I'm just going to ask that when you have a moment, we actually touch base.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Whoever calls the other one first in the morning. I'm just so your parents, just so you know, I report to the building every single day. So please call. Any issue you have, I don't care how little you may be, and I know a lot of people go like, oh, you're so busy, I didn't want to bother you. Like that's what I get paid for. Okay. I got to earn my check. So please do not hesitate to call, no matter how minor you might think it is, or you didn't want to, didn't want to bother the principal. That's what I'm here for. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll make sure I got my notes of who to call tomorrow. Anybody else? All right, Miss Kidd, Miss Jackson. Kat, I know I got to call you, so I'll talk to you later. All right, any other little hands or manitos up? The last thing I want to tell you, since I have a captive audience, you are going to receive in the mail from me in the coming days or soon in the coming days. I sent a mailer out to you It has your child's first marking period report card, because I know some parents everybody doesn't have access to or their email or what have you. So you're gonna get a hard copy of that. I also included the mailing, whatever your learning option was when we were supposed to come back from hybrid. And we contacted every family, and every family told us they were either gonna be remote or hybrid. So I sent that, we were literally ready to send that information, a couple of days before we got the notice that we were staying remote. But I'm still going to send that to you, because we know many of our families are not getting the email. So I want to just put that, please save that information, because when we eventually do reopen for a hybrid model, it's going to be the same process. If you chose hybrid and when we're ready to reopen, you want to be remote or opposite, there's a process that you just, complete a form online, and then we'll do our best to accommodate. But I just thought it was important that you have those hard copies and that information for you. So when you get it, don't say like, oh my God, we're reopening school. That information is so whenever we do come back, which I'm pretty solid, we're probably not going to come back until sometime in 2021. You have that information. Okay. So you'll get that. And then you'll also, if it applies to your child, you'll also get an attendance letter if your child has been out more than 5 or 10 days as well. Okay.
Miss Siggy has a question.
Go for it. Oh, do I need to unmute you? Hold on. Can you unmute, Miss Siggy?
I did. Can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, very loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. I have a question. My son has been doing community service for the National Honor Society, but a lot of the hours or the few areas that he can make them on are during school hours. So for example, the last 2 Wednesdays, he's been working at a food place, some kind of in Wallingford. And I'm getting the fact that he's not in school. So I got the text, but he's telling me that those will be excused. Is he correct? Am I wrong? Because I'm telling him.
This is the first that I'm hearing about it. I did tell the National Honor Society sponsor that kids can do community service on Wednesdays. They just have to notify me so we know, so that way they're not marked absent, and they could literally just go online on their phone if they have one to their homeroom teacher. So that needs to be communicated to the homeroom teacher.
He emailed him twice for the 2 days, but he emailed him telling him that he was going to do in the community service, but I'm still getting that he's been absent those 2 Wednesdays. So it could be excused, but you're still going to get that absent. Okay. So regardless, even if it's excused, you're still going to get that. That actual parent link comes from the district that they send out. That it doesn't even come from me. Like the district literally just sends out that parent link to any family whose child was marked absent, so they know. And for New Haven Promises purposes, is that considered an absence?
It is. So that way, I'll figure that out. Give me a call. I'll work that out with the sponsor. So because I didn't think about So okay. I'll work that out with the sponsor. Thank you for putting that on my radar.
Okay, thank you.
I think Ms. Dembski put in the chat that it may not count for New Haven Promise if he's doing the community service in Wallingford. So that's something, that she should definitely check with New Haven Promise, because
I think Oscar is good with his hours for New Haven Promise. So just for everyone, just so you know, if you are doing community service that you want to count for New Haven Promise, it has to be in New Haven. If it's for Honor Society or another kind of, scholarship, I think it's okay outside of New Haven.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. That's a really good point with New Haven Promise. They are very particular about the kind of community service that they accept. So they don't accept community service like, I was babysitting the kids during church service, or, certain things, or, I helped in the main office stuffing envelopes and doing that kind of stuff. So they're very particular.
But also, I had a student do service for the Mexican consulate in West Haven, and they rejected it because it was in West Haven. So just keep that in mind. And also, I think there was a little confusion with the forms. So there's 2 forms. One is the sign-in that should be accessible. I hope everyone signed in. And then there's one that should be completed by your student, by your child, that I don't think you guys have access to because it's through the New Haven Public School Google Suite. So your child should be able to access that through Google Classroom.
She's muted.
I'm sorry. My kids have been awesome. I don't know why I decided to set up in the playroom. This has the best light in the whole house. And now they're in here messing with me. So since I think we answered all the questions in the chat, I want to thank you guys so much. Parents, I appreciate your understanding, your patience. We know this is very difficult for your kids, for you, and I feel terrible that we are not able to celebrate them. 1 minute, Jacob. I know you want juice, wait. That we can't celebrate them the way that we would. So please, please, please reach out to us. I'm only a phone call, email away. Say hi to everybody. Hi, right, okay. So say good night because somebody has to go to bed. Thank you, parents. We will talk to you all soon. Okay, and thank you, and I appreciate all of you. Kids, make sure you go to class, go to your homeroom, go to every single class, pass all your classes. You're awesome and wonderful, and I will talk to you later, and I'm so happy to see all of you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Nice to see everyone.
Everyone.
Adios. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Record to cloud.
Buenas noches, que va. Ciao. Bye, everyone.
Bye.